In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can build an AI business brain that can essentially replace lots of the stuff that you do in your business. I'll show you exactly how you do it step by step. This entire thing works here where you ask it a question. It then sends it through to this make automation here. It grabs information, we validate your passkey, and essentially we have this really cool classifying agent that is basically the brains behind your operation. And it will send it down one of four pathways completely based on the question that you ask it. Now, the only purpose I had in building this automation is it was essentially like Iron Man, like AI Javas. Could we build something that basically functions as like an AI version of you, like an AI executive assistant? And the model I'm going to show in this video is something you can apply to your business, your personal life, where all you ever do is have a chat with the bot and it then goes forward and actions literally whatever you want. So how does it work? Well, we ask it a question. I'll show you how it works step by step in a second. And essentially it sends it down one of four pathways. So the one that I built on this video will do one of four things for you. The first thing is you can upload PDFs to it. You load a PDF, it will parse the PDF and then upload it to a table where we can see the company, the amount they charged you, when they issued it, when it's due or not, and actually get a kind of URL of it so we can actually itemize all of the invoices you get. The next thing you can do is ask it any question about your business. We can train it on your data, give it lots of information. You can ask it things like, hey, how many employees do I have? And it will tell you. We'll also search the internet to enrich any answers. So you could say, hey, I've got this potential opportunity in Asia. Does that make sense? It will take your data plus the internet data, what's relevant, what's new, what's fresh internet, and give you an answer. So it's literally like a kind of AI that sits around you. I mean, it's really, really epic. I absolutely love this. And then we've got the email one. So if I said to something like, hey, email Adam about this cool meeting on Friday, just make sure to tell him blah, blah, blah. This will then create an email that is drafted in your tone of voice. And I've got another video I'll pop on screen about how you build that tone of voice automation. It will create a unique subject line for that email and it will sit within your drafts. And then we've also got something where if it can't understand it, it will come back and say, hey, it doesn't quite make sense. Could you be more specific? The cool thing about this, guys, is the genius of this is the classifying agent. And you can build as many pathways as you want to for your business AI Java. So PDF processing, image processing, creating emails, your new documents for businesses, reaching out to clients. Literally, you can build as many of these branches if you want to. You could have 60, 70, 80, whatever you want. You could have as many of these things as possible, and it's all managed from one conversational terminal. And in this video, I'll show you exactly how you build it all step by step. My name is Jack. My school community and my YouTube channel, we're all about three things. We are about the latest AI. We are about incredible automations. But most importantly, we are about the stuff that actually works. So if you haven't already, grab that coffee and let's dive straight in. And as always, guys, all the blueprints, the agents and materials, and including the entire code for this, so you can just literally plop it on something and use it, is all available over in the school community. The way you find that is head over to every AI automation in the classroom, pick the one that you want, basically scroll down, and you just download the software there. Now, when you come to use that, you just come down here to more, click import blueprint, and then choose the file. You choose a JSON, click save, and then the entire automation appears automatically, and that's for every automation I do on YouTube, as well as the ones that I don't. So if you want to save time and get all the extra bells and whistles, you can check that out in that beautiful school community. So let me show you, I guess, an example of how this actually works step by step, and then we'll go through and we'll build it all together. So I'm gonna hit run once on this one so the automation can stop. Now, what should we ask it? Let's ask it a question like, I don't know, how about we say like, how many employees do I have? Okay, hit enter. We come back over to our automation, what happens now. Now that's going through to the webhook. It's validated the passkey, I'll show you that in a second. The classifying agent has identified that it's a general question. Therefore, what we're doing is we're now checking the internet search to see if there's something relevant for us to learn or have about that. And then it's gonna go through to the business brain. Now, the business brain is trained on all of our information, our data, and then it sends a response back to the webhook. So I come back over now to a beautiful automation. Basic information provided, Coffee Corp has 1,800 employees. That's pretty cool. So next, let's try it with a PDF, okay? So we're gonna come back over here. I'm gonna click run once on this one. I'm gonna upload a dummy PDF data that I had earlier. So I've just uploaded a sample invoice, which is great. I come back over now to AI Jarvis. This is running, and it's identified it needs to go down route one, down the PDF route. And we do that basically by getting the classifying agent to give an output on what it classifies as correct, and then we implement that by these cool filters. Then we've got this really cool app PDF code. It came as a suggestion from my community who wanted to know how we could leverage Caress and make some cool stuff in PDFs. So we've parsed a PDF document, we've added it to Airtable, and then we've thrown it back. So let's just see if we've had a response back. Great, I processed your invoice. If you could focus more on getting sales and collecting invoices, that would be appreciated. I made the AI sassy, okay? I forgot to mention that. Now, as you can see, guys, the company, the amount, when it was issued, when it was due, and actually a copy of the actual invoice itself is all visible within Airtable. And finally, guys, I'm now gonna ask it a question on sending an email. So I say, hey, send an email to James about the meeting on Friday, move it to Tuesday, tell him it's important. Boom, hit enter. Beautiful. Then we come back over now to a beautiful automation. It's going to classify an agent, and it has correctly identified it's now down the email train. So we've got the email brain, the subject line, and Gmail's create an email. And if we come back over to see what we've been told by this, excellent, I've drafted an email. You requested, now go back to work, you lazy lemon. How dare this AI Jarvis talk to us in such a way? But hey, because it's helping us so much, I think we don't mind. So then I'll check out my Gmails and see what it looks like. And guys, I come over to my email, subject, meeting move to Tuesday, important update. Hey James, I hope this email finds you well. Just a heads up about our meeting. Important change, we need to move on our Friday's meeting to Tuesday. It's crucial we meet earlier, so please make it a priority. Let me know if you have any conflicts. Thanks for being flexible. Cheers, Jack. And guys, just like that, the entire automations work from end to end. And then finally, I bought this like catch-all thing. So for example, if I run this module once, I come back over and I just send it something it doesn't understand, okay? Like that, something crazy. It should send it down the nonsense route. I do that because we need a way of basically identifying if it doesn't fit so it doesn't kind of break the automation. I come back, hey, we couldn't quite understand what you're asking about. Could you provide a little more context? I can. Organize your receipts, answer questions about your business, draft emails, but I cannot read minds, so be more specific. And just like that, guys, that's how the entire automation works. And the cool thing is you can build as many of these pathways as you literally want in any way you want, in any tone of voice you like. And we're going to cover how you do all of that in this video. And I just think this is really epic. Now, in terms of what you need to do with automation, you need a couple of things. Meg.com, obviously, it's a no-code automation platform we're using. I'll put all the links in the description below so you can click the buttons and go. We're going to want access to Claude or ChatGPT. We access that by console.anthropic. Again, links down below. We're going to want Perplexity if you want internet search. That's quite easy to set up and quite straightforward. We've got all the sorts of tutorials for that. We're going to be using PDF Code. They give you 10,000 credits for free, which I think is pretty cool, pretty flexible. And obviously Gmail, if you want to send emails. Now I'm using this website here called Card. Now you'll know from my last video, I did a video on the beautiful Replit. When I tried to build this in Replit, it just, the chat interface looked amazing. Now Replit is like it's like a agent that will, these AI agents that will build out all the software and it will host it itself, and it's cool. This is cheaper to do it this way. And I found when I was building it in Replit that it just didn't quite give me what I wanted, and it kind of failed as I got more and more complex with it. So for being robust, I'd recommend that you use this pathway and use a passkey instead. But of course, you can build it on Replit. It's just that, bear in mind, sometimes you'll need to reset it and do it again a couple of times. And I'll always be honest about the strength of technologies. That is going to be the future, that kind of thing on Replit. But for the moment, we're going to use Card and integrated code. So you'll want access to Card, guys. It's like $50 for a year, or so I can get these free things. So let me show you how that actually works. Head over to card.co. Again, I'll put a description down below in the description for you. You can pick some always really cool templates. Let's just say that you like the look of this one. You select it, and then we can start to basically do various different things that we want. So we can come down here. We can add in widgets and embeds, and we add an embed code like so. Right? We click on the embed code. You come down on the left, and you type in code that we develop with ChatGPT or Claude. In this example here, as you can see, I've got the code here, and I've got all this. Of course, all this is available down below. It's a cool community, so you can just plug and play. And all you would do is just change the webhook. So if you're building this yourself, when you're talking to these models, just say, hey, I want you to send the data to the webhook, and then it will send it back to you. So for simplicity and just out of respect for your time, I'm just going to run through what this looks like, but it's basically a drag and drop builder. You can add things, images. It's really cool, actually. You know, I built my first website, my first business, I got it to like 50K using WordPress. I love WordPress. If I was launching again from day one, I would use Card because it's just so configurable and so cool and stuff. So we've got a beautiful AI Jarvis. We've added the code. When we're happy with it, we publish it, we save, and then we publish the changes. And then essentially just play around with it to see what you think. This already comes mobile optimized. One of the advantages this has over something like Replit or these other things is just usability, guys. And we've got to be practical. The cost is really low on this. And it just, the way the dimensions are built, it's got so much information in it already that it's just ready to go on mobile. Does that mean Replit's not amazing? No, dude, Replit's awesome. But I just wanted to make sure you understand the differences in the technology. Now, cool. Let's get rid of this guy for the time being. So the first thing you want to do is get the code that will be available in the school community or build your own, however you'd like to build Jarvis yourself. Now, if you're using this code, you'll see it's got this thing here called the Passkey. The reason I'm adding the Passkey is every time Jarvis sends information to our automation, it sends with a passkey, okay? And we can set this passkey here, which basically means if it sends a value, so if I just say, I'll miss one H out, for example, okay? If I send a value that isn't correct, and we can find that by editing it here, which means if somebody were to stumble across this website and say, hey, tell me all the company secrets, like so, I hit send, it just says accepted. We could build like a failure on there if we want to, so I'm just, whoops, excuse me, come back. Okay, it wasn't running, let's do it one more time, okay. Hey, tell me all the company secrets, and let's see what that looks like. Okay, boom, I come back over to AI Jarvis. It will not get past the passkey because it was inaccurate. So only information that has the right passkey will ever get through. Awesome. Okay, cool. So let's give it the correct passkey this time, and we'll come back over and grab that there. Perfect. All right, sweet. So let's build this all from scratch then. So to do that, we've got our beautiful thing. So the first thing is to develop this. So just upload the code. Let's go over now to our new make scenario. Beautiful guys, so we've got a brand new scenario. First thing we're gonna do is name it because we have nothing without our formalities. It's called AI Automation Jarvis, and we'll give it a briefcase because Jarvis, you know, I feel like Jarvis would rock a briefcase a little bit there. Awesome. So first thing we're gonna do is get a webhook. Now, because I'm using this automation, I'm just gonna grab and change this. Quick way to do that is Control F EU2 is what you'll find, and you'll find this hook. So what you do, first thing you do is get a webhook like so. Webhook, we'll click on a custom webhook like so, and we'll click on add, and then we'll say Jarvis automation. Just give it a name so we know. And then we click save, and then we'll get a nice webhook. And then we're gonna copy the address to the clipboard. We're gonna click OK. And then we're gonna come back over and we're just gonna find this data, and then we're gonna click save and publish changes like so. Give that a second. Beautiful, and that is now complete. So we will just copy our passkey for argument's sake, and then we'll just refresh this page. Beautiful, new passkey, saved, sweet. So first thing guys, I wanna just validate the information. So that's just, as you can see what here it's doing is we need to redetermine the data structure. So let's just send it something like, I don't know, hey, as an enter, and it's successfully determined. And run this one more time, come back, and we'll just say, hey, one final time. And it's accepted, and we should get the text and the passkey. How flipping cool is that, guys? I think that's pretty cool. Cool, so the first thing we wanna do is get a, we wanna get really this classifying module. So let's click on Claude, create a prompt, come down, max tokens, 4,000, and then we're gonna add this message, select user as what we want, and then add content. So let me run you through what the prompt is for this. Of course, all these prompts will be available down below in the description, in the community. So look, here's what we're gonna give it now. This is basically the key. Now you would replicate this for every single thing you would like it to classify with. And you can hard code classifications, like if you know, for example, whenever you get an image, send it down route A, or whenever you get a PDF, send it down route B. You can be as specific as you like with the classifications, or we can use something like Claude to do those for us. So look, you are a classifying agent tasked with analyzing messages from a chat window and routing them appropriately. Follow these instructions carefully. The first one I had is route nonsense, which is route 4. Criteria: if the message does not make sense at all, you cannot place it anywhere. Action: output the word nonsense. If the message is requested in an email, output the word email. If it's a general inquiry, like, hey, when was the last meeting, or which business should we look at next, output the word general. Important notes: you are only capable of outputting one word, either email or record, is email or receipt or general. If the message does not meet the criteria for receipt uploaded or any email request, do not output any word. Do not provide any explanations or additional text beyond the specified output. Cool, beautiful. And then what we'll do, guys, is you copy this, or just copy it from the actual thing itself, and then let's give it this beautiful prompt down here, and that is a text. Beautiful. And then we'll call this one here. Let's have a look. Dr. Classify, I think could be a cool name, don't you think? Dr. Classify. By the way, guys, just got back from a German meetup. Incredible. You guys are so sick, dude. Honestly, I was blown away by how like impressive and intelligent and that's awesome our community is on this channel. It's so sick in the school community. Everyone was decent. We did axe throwing. There's a photo on the channel of having a pip and popping good time. It was really cool. I got to try the schnitzel, the German schnitzel. I'll be honest, dude, I thought schnitzel was a giant sausage, and to my surprise, it definitely wasn't. So if you're German, please don't laugh at that. All right, router. Now this is the bit where you'll add as many pathways as you want to. So we're going to do 4 pathways for the purpose of this automation, so you can find it. When we've built the automation out, we will then add the rules, and then essentially you are going to be ready to go. So what's our first pathway look like? Well, it's pdf.co, Airtable, then a webhooks. Cool. All right, well, let's do pdf.co first. So come on here and pdf.co. Now, the one that we want is parse a document, like so, okay? Now, when this comes up, you'll be prompted to add an API key, okay? Now, what does that look like? Let me show you on the actual website. By the way, when you upload a document, you get stuff like this where you can actually see all the stuff that you've vendored. So if I come back over to, let's have a look at the home, and then we've got this API key. So I had 10,000 credits. I've done like quite a few PDFs. It's taken a couple hundred. It's really cool. On the homepage, you'll see an API key. You just copy the key, you head back over, and you put it in there. And it's as simple as that, okay? Now to test this, what I need to do is upload a sample PDF. So let me just unlink this for the moment. I'm gonna run this module once, come back over then to our AI Jarvis, and let's upload a PDF. Cool, I've uploaded the PDF, I come back over to scenario, and you can see it's got the files. Now, what that'll enable us to do is actually pinpoint what that looks like ourselves. Okay, so let's just delete this one here, one moment. Sometimes if you've not done the data beforehand, it will not show you. So go to pdf.co, again, we'll type in parse one more time, parse a document. Awesome, and it should show us the information from the file we can just bring over, which should be pretty neat. Cool, and we'll just map this over. Where's the data? Well, the data is right here, which is pretty sweet. And guys, that is literally all you need to do. Then you click, okay, sweet. So what we're gonna do now is we are just gonna run this entire module once, so run once. We come back over to our thing and we do the same thing again. I've uploaded that, I come back over, it's running, and now pdf.co is parsing the document, and it'll give us all the information that we had there, which I think is pretty cool. We like that. Just really cool for invoice management, dude. I mean, just having something you can just like throw images and PDFs and documents without having to say it. Now, I've seen like ideas of we could do this with ChatGPT, and you can do it with ChatGPT, on some of the custom agents, but the problem is it's a lot of back and forth, like, oh, do you want to do this, do you want to do that? This is just send and go. This is one step and it goes immediately. Now if I check this out, the outputs, look at this information, guys. There's the URL, there's an output link. I think that's pretty sweet. Now what we want to do then, guys, is we want to add this over to Airtable. So we're going to add an Airtable module on here in terms of create record. Now first thing we do, guys, is we head over to airtable.com. We're going to come bottom left to create, start from scratch. And we'll call this one, let's call this one expense tracker, and give it a nice little red. And I think since it's expense tracker, let's give it a cash emoji. Beautiful. And then we just want to output a couple of things. So for example, if I check the outputs we've got here, you can see if I come down to body, object value, that's all fine. We've got all these beautiful, and basically you can go through and choose all the different outputs that you'd actually physically like to have. You see like company name, invoice date, issued, amount, subtotal, that kind of thing, right? So let's see what we built the first time. So we've got company, amount, issued, due. And to build those guys, you basically double click on the name, type in the thing, and I'd just say for all of them, just use single line of text. So do company, double click, same thing again, amount, and then just have the emoji, that's cool. And again, either long text or single line text is absolutely fine. And just do that for all of them. Once that's done, guys, you'll get something that looks like this. I just skipped ahead out of respect for your time, except for the last one, which you right click, edit field, and just choose status. And I've just the categories as dispute, in progress, and paid. So we can actually go through and use this as a how we get on with our expenses at that point. And if you've got a business, you could build this as part of your standard operating procedures where the individual just comes over to your AI Jarvis, they just throw the document in, and then you yourself then will actually have a good view of this. And in your meetings, you can say, look, has that been done? Yes or no? Let's go down. Yes, that's been paid. Awesome. And use it as a cool management thing. So it's just like a kind of catch-all portal that's got a bit of intelligence and brain in it. So then we come back over to scenario. We've got Airtable here. We click on the Airtable, expense tracker. Beautiful. And then guys, all we do is just align all of the information that you would like on there with it, okay? And if you click on the object value, we've got company name, which is cool. We've got the amount, which is this amount here. We've got the date it was issued, which is this one here. We've got the date that it was due, which is this one here. And then we've got the URL. So if I come down to the beautiful URL, guys, and that is it. So essentially now, every single time you load a PDF, it will get added into our wonderful expense tracker. That's that whole bit done. How cool is that? Now, what is the next thing that we need to build in this wonderful automation? It's gonna be Perplexity, Business Brain, and Webhook. Okay, so let's look what the prompt is for Perplexity for this one, okay? So look, just for a fresher memory, this is the general category. So this is the one that will get the most amount of action. Now, in reality, you won't need to call Perplexity for all of them. So if you wanted to take this up a level, again, I just wanted to keep this simple. I sometimes see what I do is like I'm Lego and you're the builder. I want to show you how it works structurally with respect for your time, and then you can take this to a million levels. I could have spent like 4 weeks on this and built like a behemoth. Maybe I'll do that. If you want me to do that, let me know. But there's an example. So for example, if I was optimizing this to the nines, I would have our business brain module and then have it decide whether or not it wants to enrich its information with Perplexity. And you can see how you get these decision points to start to build out all throughout the automation. And if I was building this for a client or was advising you in terms of how you can make money with this, that's what I'd encourage you to do next, is think about the decision points. But just for simplicity, I'm gonna show you as a kind of sequential linear journey. So what would I say to Perplexity? I said, look, you're an intelligent and insightful assistant designed to answer questions about companies. When a user asks a question, do deep analysis, carefully examine the question to understand all underlying aspects about what the user is truly seeking, and consider any implicit queries or related topics that could enhance users' understanding. I tell it to do comprehensive research, educating concise responses, add value, do a final presentation. I give it examples in terms of what the user question is, what its process is in terms of analyze, research, gather, present, and then critically at the end, remember, your goal is to provide the most helpful and informative answer possible, anticipating users' needs, exceeding expectations through the thorough research and thoughtful presentation. So we have this with Perplexity, and then we feed that to our business brain. So let's add Perplexity into the scenario really quick. Beautiful, Perplexity. We're going to create chat completion. Remember, if you want internet access, the model must end with online. I'll do 4,000 with that. We'll add a message. Content is going to be simply that prompt. And then we've got the question. And for the question, guys, you just do text. Now, if you can't see the text there, okay, what I want you to do is come back over to Dr. Classifier, because when the webhook response changes, it no longer lets you select. So it kind of doesn't have a built-in memory like that. So just come back over here, copy that, come back over to Perplexity, scroll all the way down. Okay, mine's here because I just copied it, but you may not do that, and just Control V, okay? Role is going to be user, maximum is 4,000, temperature, don't worry about that, okay? So we'll call this guy Research Bro. I like Research Bro, give him some cool glasses. Sweet, and the next thing I want to do, guys, is Business Brain, okay? So come back over to Claude, create a prompt, max tokens, 4,000, add a message, role is going to be user, content, and let's see what the prompt I'm going to use is. Now, for Business Brain, this is what I'm going to suggest you say. You are a conversational chatbot. You will receive a question about Coffee Corp, and you will provide an answer based on the below information. Do not add any additional information. Please naturally integrate additional context or information from the additional research if you feel it would add value. So it will bring the research to Perplexity, or to Claude, and say, hey, look, here's some additional data. If you think that adds to the value, or you feel you can't answer it with the data you've already got, bring that in. So we're kind of giving it the agency to decide whether or not we want to give it that additional context. For example, if the question is about employee size, then there's no need to do that. However, if it's about the size of the market, then the answer might benefit from basically referencing additional research if you perceive it to be helpful. Here's what the question is, here's the additional research to the answer, and then we basically just link it back to Perplexity, the output, and also the question that we got from the initial webhook. And then I just fed it a lot of fake information about a company called Coffee Corp that was founded in 1995 in Frankfurt, because it just came from the beautiful Frankfurt, where I love my schnitzel, which is phenomenal. We've got industry, annual revenue, loads of crazy information. So just post all the information you want down there below. One of the things I'm going to show you how to do soon is how you can actually get living, breathing information with these AIs, so you can constantly keep dragging it down. So we don't need to keep giving it static information, but I can do that in a future video if you would like. So you go all through, add all the information there about the company and your particular business, whatever data you think is helpful. And then guys, we're gonna come over here then to type is text, beautiful. And then guys, we just paste it all in, or just write the thing that you want. And again, when it comes to these two pieces of information, we got the text from earlier, and then we need to choose our choices, okay? For that, we come down to choices, we come down to message, and then we choose content. Excellent. And then I'm gonna click, okay, beautiful. And we need to call this one Business Brain, because it's exactly what it is. Beautiful, and let's give it a beautiful Business Brain. And then guys, what we then need to do is add a webhook to send it back. So I click on this, I click on webhook, click a webhook response, okay? Now this is basically, what do you want to tell the user when they're finished? So you'll notice in this one I did here, I get a little bit sassy. We basically got this one here as a text response, so this one here is just simply the output from the business brand, okay? But for this one here, we're not really giving them the output of the PDF, although we could do if you wanted to. If you wanted to summarize the PDF or tell you what it's done, that's possible. We give it a webhook response, we come over, okay, and let's just tell it something. So in this one, I basically said, hey, thank you for invoice. We'd prefer you to make more money than not. There you go. Write the message you want the user to get the webhook. Now, the way we're going to set this up, by the way, is that it's only ever going down one route, but once it's sent the webhook response back, it will not send a second one back, okay? It's just one because it needs to be pretty immediate. So let's test if this one works. To do that, I'm just very briefly going to disable these routes. Let's run this one once, then let's ask it a question, okay? So how about something like, how much money did we make last year? Hit enter. I come back over to our scenario. It goes through to Research Bro, which we like. Give it a second, bro's doing any research. Now, that's not a question you can do research on. Like I said, you could move that around. But if I said something like, how much did we make last year and what is the average for coffee companies? In fact, you know what? I'm going to hit full stop on that and ask it that exact question because I think that would really be helpful for the middle. So how much did we make last year and are coffee businesses getting more profitable post-COVID? So this will be something about what we've done, but then also give it the opportunity for Research Bro to go forth. I say Research Bro. I think that's what we call them in Perplexity, right? For Perplexity to go out, Research Bro, find information, and let's see if this then integrates, like, you know, internet enriched data and research into our answers. And yeah, it just gives us more data and perspective. Now, obviously, you can optimize for many things. You could just really simplify this down if you want an answer within 2 seconds, but I wanted to make this interesting. So let's go to our thing here. Let's check this out. Based on information provided, I can answer your questions as follows. Coffee Corp made approximately 800 million euros in revenue last year. Regarding profitability in business post-COVID, there are indeed signs of increased profitability in industry. Major coffee chains have shown strong recovery and growth. For example, Starbucks reported record consolidated net revenues of 9.4 billion, up 11% in their latest fiscal report. How cool is that? So not only now have I got an AI that understands my business, it's now going forth and doing research and bringing additional data in. It's pretty cool, right? And by the way, you can improve on this design if you want and do a million different things. I had fun with this. I had it like doing images. I had it doing voice notes so I could like chat to it and stuff. It was really, really, really cool. Cool. All right, now we've done that one. Let's re-enable some of these routes. But before we do that, let's think about our third section. So then we've got the email brain. This is when we want to send an email to a colleague or do something cool. So let's have a look at what the prompt is with this. Now, obviously, what you want to do here is use your tone of voice. Now, I've done a full video on how you can create an AI tone of voice based on like 11 to 13 different categories. Like, here's a really brief example. This is the Alex Hermosa tone of voice alpha. We look at vocabulary and word choice. So for Alex, for example, he uses simple words like stuff, make, best, neat. Specialized terms like commoditized, value discrepancy. We look at grammatical patterns. We look at punctuation. So for example, Alex, include the occasional explanation point for excitement and conviction. For example, cool, right, blah, 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 blah. Sentence structure and length, rhetorical devices, paragraph structure, tone and mood, overall coherence, cohesion, idiosyncrasies, blah, blah, blah. This, by the way, is like the baby version. The video I go through, the full guide gives you 10x this. It's like a really cool automation. You should check that out. So get your tone of voice developed. Why we do that? It just means that every email that we create is going to sound like you. So it isn't going to sound like a canned AI response. So we want to personalize it. So we give it this prompt. You're an email assistant tasked with composing an email according to the following guidelines. So I generally said, look, make it brief, use this formatting. And then I said, look, draft an email content based on the guidelines with the appropriate greeting. Ensure the email is self-contained and does not require additional context. I tell it to be HTML. I tell it how to sign off. And then I say, this is in response to a draft email about. And then you insert the text. Sign off as Jack, use bold, use emojis. Oh my goodness. And then we enter all your tone of voice underneath there. As simple as that. So let's copy all of this and click OK. We go over to our new Perplexity now. Let's add that in there. Anthropic, not Perplexity. Again, we do 4,000 as maximum tokens. That's absolutely fine. Add message. Role is going to be user. And then the content is going to be text. Text. And then we just paste that in. And again, where is the text? If I can scroll up a little bit, as you can see, text is right there. Just press this to include it. Awesome, beautiful. I'm going to call this one rename email draft. And then let's give it, of course, an email for beautiful measure, like so. Click OK. And then we're going to add a new one in there, Anthropic. And again, this one, guys, is just going to be the subject line. Why am I doing a subject line? Because we're lazy and we shouldn't spend any more time doing something we don't need to. So this one here is basically an assistant specialized in creating email subject lines. Your task is to read the content of the email and generate a factual, clear, and honest subject line that accurately reflects the main purpose of the email. Read the email, identify key points, create a subject line, formatting, blah, 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 all the way through. And then we clicked OK. Now you can feed it the content of the email. What you might find though is that if the email's really long, it may not like that. So an alternative thing to do is actually just give it the prompt itself. So here, for example, I've just said, this is what the email is about, text. I've specified 20 to 50 characters. So basically that's all we need. Then we click OK. And then we right click on this, we'll click on rename. We'll call this one, subject line. And we'll call this one some eyes. Beautiful. And then guys, you're gonna add your email provider of choice. This one's gonna be Gmail. We'll click on create a draft, like so. Beautiful. Now subject is gonna be the output from subject line. Content is gonna be output from email draft. And then the recipient, I'll just put tbc at blah blah.com. And then you can add that in yourself. There are ways, by the way, that we could actually give it your email list and basically add that in there, or do research to find the email address and add that in there. And you can send it automatically. But again, I wanted to kind of keep this a little bit on the simpler side so I can show you the concept and I can help you build on those in future videos. So then we click OK. Now, knowing Gmail, sometimes you have to refresh it constantly because it gets really mardy. So let me just refresh that connection real quick. Beautiful. I've appeased the Gmail overlords. So they come back over here. I click OK. So let's then run this automation one more time. Let's enable route. Let's disable this route. And then we're going to run this, okay? Now, let's ask it to write us an email for us. So how about, hey, write me an email to, I don't know, John about buying everybody pizza for the Doo Dynamics 10th birthday. Must be pineapple. Boom. All right, sweet. Then we come back over to the scenario. Let's see what's happening. Webhook's got it. Dr. Classifier's got it. Send it to email draft. Are you wondering, by the way, what this email is going to look like? We could, by the way, if you want to add images to this as well using Flux, so you could add that as a branch. Like, honestly, you could build this out to be 100. So this one's come back as a failure. Let me just see why that is. On the mailbox. Okay, I didn't choose a folder. That's exactly why. This can happen sometimes. So it's why we test as we go, just to make sure that we're getting it. Put it in drafts. Click OK. Click run once, come back over, and then we're just going to give it the same prompt again. Now guys, what we would do is, obviously you're building this out, you can add like failure catches and stuff so that if it doesn't work for whatever reason, we can send a response back, say, hey, the operation failed, blah, 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 that type of thing. Now look, that's done, subject line's done, and it's created a draft. So let's head over to the email box and see exactly what it said. And there we go, guys. Pineapple pizza for DDD's 10th birthday. It's got emojis in the tone of voice that we specified to keep it as fresh as possible. And then yeah, guys, the Doo Dynamics guys, they're going to get some pineapple pizza, which I love. And then finally, what we're going to do is this is going to be the nonsense route. So for this one, all we're going to do is add a webhook response, and let's add a webhook response here as well to make sure we're good. Now, we just want to say that we've sent the email. So let's just copy some simple text like that. Awesome. We're going to come back over. Beautiful. And then just bookend everything with the webhook response. So if it can't fit in anything, what do? We come here. We just copy this one. I've just said, like, guys, we can't read minds. Just make it easy. Guys, it's as simple as that. Now, what we need to do here is right click over this, set up a filter, and we'll call this one Passkey, like so. Okay. Now the condition is that the Passkey is equal to, let's have a look, whatever this thing is, okay? So you would set that yourself when you log in. And if you want to change it because you feel you want to change it, that's cool. You can just set it every time you log in, okay? Equals that. So if this Passkey that comes isn't equal to that, it won't go any further. Then we want to set up some filters. So let's simply re-enable all of these different routes. Beautiful. Okay, so what's the first thing we want to do? So as you can see here, the first one is PDF. And we're saying, hey, if files exists, send it down that route, okay? That's basically it. So we can right click, set filter. We'll call this one PDF. And the condition is, well, files is not there yet. So basically what you would do is you can put this code in here. We just bring it for you. There you go, like that. Can't show you. It's basically open bracket one.files. curly bracket, curly bracket. So curly bracket, one.files, curly bracket, curly bracket. But again, if you're struggling with that, you can always send a file through and capture that. But if you workarounds around it, but quite simply, that's all we're doing with files. And then we're just going to say all that is exists, and we click OK. Now the second one that we need is twofold. We say, hey, the text response contains case insensitive general, and the files don't exist. Okay, so we're going to say, hey, look, this one is going to be general. The condition is that the output from Dr. Classifier contains case insensitive general and files, which I will just grab from this real quick. Does not exist. Beautiful. And it's the same thing here. Files does not exist. And the bottom one here, condition again, files does not exist. Then come back up to this one. So that's general done. Beautiful. We like that. That's really cool. Then this one here is email draft, isn't it? So let's just see what we had for email. I believe it was quite simple, quite straightforward. Email, yeah, it's just text response contains email. So then we come to this guy here, and it's going to be and it's going to be text response contains, contains case insensitive, the word email. Then we click OK. And let's just name this one email as well, shall we? So we know what we're looking at. Email, beautiful. And then this one here is nonsense. Beautiful. I'm going and roll with that. And as you can see, the one that we built for that is basically it contains case insensitive, the word nonsense. So we come back here. Oops. The text right here, which is the output from this one, contains case insensitive, the word nonsense. Then we click OK. And guys, you've officially built the entire automation. So we save it. Got to make sure we're saving it regularly. Let's make sure there's passkey set up here. Passkey. Let's just add a little key, make sure we're cool. And then guys, we are going to test it with a random one to see exactly how it works. We're going to run this once, running in the background. Let's ask it an email and see if it goes down route 3. And if it has, we've successfully completed it. So let's say, in fact, let's not do an email. Let's just do research bro, shall we? How about something like, where are we based in the world? And is it the most popular location for creating coffee? Hit enter. We come back over to our scenario. Webhook's got it. Dr. Classifier's classified it, and it has sent it straight down the Research Pro. Because check this out. I click on it. It has ascertained it's a general query. Research Pro is finding information was about the world coffee industry. Frankfurt was good for coffee, by the way. It was really good. Well, not as good as England in general. There was one spot that was like incredible that I found at the end, and I was like, dude, this coffee is phenomenal. Now, guys, business brain is a job. Webhook sent it back. So if we head back over now, we should see the full response. Let's check out what we've got. Based on the information provided, Coffee Cup is headquartered in Frankfurt, Germany. Well, Frankfurt is not considered the most popular location for creating coffee. It is important to note that Coffee Cup is primarily a coffee production, distribution, and retail company rather than a coffee growing operation. And then it gives us things about the bean belt, the coffee belt, and Coffee Cup. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's been amazing hanging out with you. This has got so much potential. You can imagine as you stack these things up, it gets out of control. But in any case, guys, have a wonderful week, and I'll see you in the next video.